Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR Today, Thursday morning, September 29th, 2022. The man they call Meathead, the lovely Matthew Thomas. Oh, wait, not lovely. It's just Matthew Thomas. But you know what, Matthew? You are a lovely soul. Good morning, Matthew.
So, good morning. So, here's what you do. If you take the man they call Meathead's name and you put it in, you assign every letter a numeric value,
Yeah.
it actually takes you to Wisconsin, and I think it's the Harry Houdini Museum, if I'm not mistaken.
Actually, no. I think it's Lincoln and Howell in Bayview, right at the top of the mountain. Takes you right over to the Hub grocery store where I spent most of my formal years as a youth.
Interesting.
Buying Topps baseball cards, and what else did I get there? Oh, those little poppers, because I didn't have the gun. So, you rub the rock across it, and it's just a pop. So, yeah, that's what I did.
You know what? I could go for some baseball card gum right about now.
That gum was terrible. But you know what else I missed doing was the sticker book. Actually, Topps had it was Topps. Topps had a sticker book. So instead of the cards, you collected the book and then you bought the packs with the stickers. And sometimes it was a sticker that was a two-piece sticker. Those collected books are worth a ton of money. I don't have any one of them.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing is, now since cards are making a comeback, they're still readily available, 87, 88 packs of Donruss with the gum, and you can actually, it's a lot easier to find stale baseball card gum than you think.
All right. Well, nothing stale about the sponsor here. We love wearing our collar and elbow, Matthew.
Absolutely. And I mean, Collar and Elbow 2022, the story has been, it's been a little bit of a relaunch. It's been a little bit of a rebrand. And man, those shirts look absolutely much more sharper.
Makes me work stiff is what it does.
Than ever. And, I may have to revisit my Collar and Elbow collection and get my Collar and Elbow 2.0 shirts now with the cool little Collar and Elbow logo on the screen.
And get your clothing ready for the show here in Waukesha that you're still attending, correct?
Absolutely, less than a month away, man. The clock is ticking down. I hear it's going to be the best show there is, that there ever was, and that ever will be, from what reports are saying. So I will definitely be in attendance. You're right. I need to get me a new Collar and Elbow wardrobe.
But how are you going to do that?
I'm going to head on over to collarandelbowbrand.com, and I'm going to enter promo code LindaK, LINDAKAY, to save me 10% off my order. And I can't wait to see the new apparel. And I mean, it always shows up so quick. Like I'll place an order and it'll be there later on that day or something. Man, it's crazy.
Well, you never know. I mean, you got a body type that actually has shirts on stock. I've got the a very unique, shapely body. Because I've got curves, Matthew. So yeah,
all the right places.
Me. That's right. I was looking for love in all the wrong places. Sorry.
Hey, I tell you, after Hangman last night, I wouldn't mind seeing a Collar and Elbow brand Dolly Parton shirt.
Yeah, every time I see Dolly, now this is gonna blow your mind, listening here on the worldwide network of PWR Today, and blow your mind, Matthew Thomas. I never heard this song from Dolly Parton before I heard it from White Stripes. I heard White Stripes do it first. Jolene, 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 Jolene. I heard the White Stripes do it. I thought it was so phenomenal. I had to search out the original. I'm telling you, if I could get me a Collar and Elbow brand t-shirt with Dolly on it, hello, Dolly. Let's do it.
Oh my goodness. That would be fantastic. Now, let me ask you this, man. I'm trying to go through the archives of my brain. Dolly, did she ever make a WrestleMania appearance?
I don't think so.
It would have made so much sense. Yeah, in that era. I mean, Reba McEntire did. That was like 7 or 8, I think. Yeah. But man, she would have fit right in with kind of that Burt Reynolds.
Right. Because Dolly Parton was in the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. Probably one of my favorite movies.
Right alongside that Burt Reynolds, Bob Uecker era.
I'm telling you, Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. You wouldn't think the man they call Meathead, who is, this very shapely, curvy man that is into pro wrestling, would be into Dolly Parton. But I'm telling you, that movie with Jim Nabors, Gomer Pyle, look out, Burt Reynolds, Dolly Parton, Jim Neighbors, the best little whorehouse in Texas. I think Dabney Coleman was in that one too. Again, what a great movie from back in my childhood. It was just so damn funny. But no, Dolly's perfect, and Dolly Parton. I've always been a big fan of hers because I forget how old the kids can go up to, but if you sign up your like newborn or you sign up your infant with the Dolly Parton program, she'll start sending you books, so the kids have books to read.
Really? I was unaware of that.
Yep, absolutely. We got Dolly World as well. She's got her own amusement park.
You know what? Maybe that's the site of a, we have our shenanigans party every year, but maybe we need like a mid-year retreat for us in PWR show listeners. Maybe we do that next year at Dollywood.
Well, I would definitely like to dive right into Dolly Parton's, amusement park, so we can go from there. I don't care how old she is. She's a beautiful woman. She's a very handsome woman.
So what you're telling me is you're not afraid of roller coasters?
No, roller coaster, love. All right. Let's get into wrestling. Not really a ton of news, but let's talk about Dynamite for last night. Matthew Thomas, you watched the program. They were live from Philadelphia, and they made sure to let us know they were in Philadelphia multiple times at the University of Temple.
Yeah. In Dynamite last night, we'll break it down segment by segment, but overall, it was a different feel to me. It felt a little bit more like a WWE program from several years ago. We had many more, kind of longer promo segments.
It felt very sports entertaining, is what I was going to say. That was the phrase I was going to use. Very sports entertaining. And let's start it off with the Jericho Appreciation Society Championship celebration. Angelo Parker, Matt Menard, Daniel Garcia, Sammy Guevara, the ladies, Ty Conte and Anna Jay, and the Appreciation Society's head, Chris Jericho, celebrating the Ocho, Chris Jericho's 8th World Championship, as he is now the Ring of Honor World Champion.
There's been a lot of talk recently about Moxley really coming through for AEW as a company in its first few years. I want to throw another name out there. I mean, I think Jericho has probably done more in that company to establish and get younger talent over than everybody. Watching it last night, watching him come out there with his new stable, he has been an absolute, he has been that person, I think, that has really transitioned a lot of that young AEW talent to, your traditional pro wrestling viewers that have the familiarity with Jericho. And, what we were seeing there in that opening segment was absolutely, a great additional example of that.
It's funny you say that because, let's really talk about what Jericho's done in AEW so far. He brought along instantly on day one of Dynamite, and they'll have their, is it their 3rd or 4th year anniversary? I think it's their 3-year anniversary.
2019 was when it launched, correct?
Yep, 2019. So he brought along Sammy Guevara, who on the national scene, we didn't know who he was, but instantly Sammy was one of the pillars. They talked about him before the first ever Dynamite. Sammy Guevara. He brought along guys like, we already knew who Jake Hager was, but he brought along guys like, Matt Menard and Angelo Parker, and now we got Daniel Garcia. He brought along Orange Cassidy, who was looked at as kind of a comedy act for a while, and now Orange Cassidy is taken a lot more seriously, even though, he still, makes us laugh, but Orange Cassidy is taken seriously. Like, he could win a match at any given time. So Chris Jericho doing the job and the honors of a veteran wrestler, bringing along the up-and-comers.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about it. Face-to-face, Garcia and Jericho. This is the Ring of Jericho era, and he presents a nice hat to Daniel Garcia, who doesn't appreciate it, and then just clocks the Pizza Man.
So here's the word on the street, Meathead. This is some deep inside information. Apparently,
deep dish information.
Deep dish information. Apparently, that's gimmick dough.
Of course, it's gimmick dough. Have you ever worked in a pizza business?
No, I haven't. But I know I, kind of, dropped the illusion for a lot of you out there in listening land. But yeah, there's gimmick dough. That's not shoot dough.
That's not shoot dough. I've worked with shoot dough. I actually could do the twirling in my hand. I don't need to kind of put out what I've done, but I've worked for a national corporation pizza place. I've worked for local pizza places. Yeah, that pizza wouldn't last more than, say, 30 seconds. Work dough would never last more than 30 seconds. That's gimmick dough.
Pulling the curtain back this morning.
Pulling on the dough. All right. So, by the way, if it lands on the floor, you have 10 seconds to pick it up. All right. Yeah. So here's what happens. Bryan Danielson comes out and says that, do you want to be a sports entertainer or do you want to be a professional wrestler? And then he offers kind of subtly a spot in the Blackpool Combat Club.
That's what it sounded like, but it was not an exclusive spot. He's perfectly fine if he wants to go pal around with Jericho and the rest of his buddies. So he offered him a spot, but he didn't really offer for them to go steady.
Guess they're just seeing each other on the side. He's like his side piece. Well, it leads to a little side action. Bryan Danielson and Matt Menard in a singles match. Danielson winning with submission at 8 minutes worth of match. This was one of the shorter matches of the night and really of AEW, generally speaking, because I don't know. Matthew, let me ask your opinion on this. I don't know who's made this decision in the last 3 to 4 years of professional wrestling, be it AEW or be it WWE or whoever, but who decided that we wanted 15 to 20-minute matches all night long?
Yeah. No, that's really a change that we've seen in recent years. And I think it's because largely you do have much more competitive wrestling on week-to-week television, especially now. Look at what you're getting on WWE, and that has been you've really seen that reiterated, I think, during this Triple H era. But you're right, that's pretty much what they're trying to do each week is just kind of everybody's trying to outwork everybody, and that leads us to your standard 12 to 15-minute match.
And that's kind of where wrestling's kind of lost me a little bit, even though I still continue to enjoy it. But think about Raw. We've mentioned this a couple times. Think about Raw's 3-hour presentation. We get 5, maybe 6 matches.
Yeah.
A 3-hour show, honestly, and say the Attitude Era, or even after that, could have had 10 matches at that point because you had enough talent that could put on entertaining segments. So, I mean, they've kind of, they stretched themselves thin with the 3 hours on Monday, 2 hours on Friday, 2 hours on Tuesday. And, AEW's got 2 hours on Wednesday, and then they've got an hour on Friday. Don't forget, coming up in just a couple of weeks, too, we're going to have a Tuesday night Dynamite as well, where they're going to be going head-to-head with NXT.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see, especially what NXT tries to counter program it with now. I mean, we're in a different era, and I think that that's going to be a little bit of a revisiting of the Wednesday Night Wars.
Yep. All right. Yuta comes out, which is supposed to be, we were told it was going to be NJF time, but Yuta comes out beforehand, basically tries to steal the thunder of MJF and say, all right, so he's a heel. He's going to go with the sports town thing. Let's see, it's Philadelphia. You guys haven't been in the playoffs. You guys are unruly, whatever. He tries to drop all the stuff in, letting us know that Wheeler Yuta is from Philadelphia. MJF comes out and, does the money thing. I make more money than everybody that's in this arena. I make more money than the people that are watching at home. To be honest, he's probably not wrong. I mean, if you really think about it, MJF probably is making maybe 500, 750, maybe $1 million a year. And the people that are watching, maybe they make 6 figures. Maybe, the people in the arena might make 6 figures, on the higher end, but probably not wrong.
So I'm going to preface this by saying I think MJF is one of the finer talents in the business, maybe the finest talent that AEW has. I'm starting to feel like since he has made his triumphant return, there's almost a little bit of overexposure of MJF right now. And I say that I enjoy, when he's on TV, but my goodness, I mean, we're getting MJF now, especially with him having that chip, in multiple segments a night. And I think they have. I think that could potentially be a problem. I mean, he was gone for so long, and what I'm feeling now these last couple of weeks, man, I think MJF is most effective when he is in a personal program with another competitor. And I'm seeing more and more of this MJF cheap heat stuff week to week, and it's concerning me a little bit. The potential overexposure and the lack of what I feel like is MJF at his best in a super, super personal program with somebody. It's just been a couple of weeks. I'm going to give it time, but it's a slightly different presentation of MJF than we've had in the past.
Let me counter you with this. Is MJF on more than one segment for each Dynamite? Because those segments would have been either CM Punk or the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
Kenny
No,
Omega.
I think you're exactly right. And I mean, that is where we most likely would have been headed now, is that Punk MJF program. And that would be that personal program. So we're kind of having to, take the pencil and write in what has been erased with the eraser end of the pencil, or maybe a magic eraser. Maybe you had a separate eraser,
So
to erase more efficient.
Permanent marker on a dry erase board? Is that what it is?
Yeah. I never liked those magic erasers, man. I thought they were one of the biggest gimmicks in lower school. Just a way to get parents to spend more money. It's like, no, you're fine. The freaking pencil eraser is fine. That magic eraser, and that magic eraser left so much more trash too, because you've got a freestanding eraser, so just the shedding of the magic eraser, would just go all over the place. And then it's like that stuff when you scratch a lottery ticket, you just wipe it on the ground. Now you've just got the remnants of magic eraser trash.
Matthew Thomas with a hot take on school supplies here on a Thursday morning.
Yeah. Well, you've got kids, man. Are they still pushing those magic erasers?
No.
Good.
No. All right, hot take from Matthew Thomas. That's going to be in the title. Match number 2, Jon Moxley and Juice Robinson. Juice Robinson, a big star on the Independents, also a big star in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and a member of the Bullet Club. We've seen him in Impact Wrestling as well. The Forbidden Door has swung open. This is one of those contender matches. So basically, it's a non-title match. If Juice Robinson can defeat Moxley, Juice Robinson next week will get a title shot. Juice Robinson also, they leaned in on this. He is the only person since John has joined AEW to have multiple victories over Jon Moxley.
Yeah, it was fun having him get some exposure here. And, the color in this match, hey, there's a guy named Juice in the match, and he's wrestling Moxley. So I personally would have been a little disappointed if there wasn't color, just because I'm previous.
When does he take on Orange Cassidy?
Good question.
Orange versus Juice.
Oh, they should really form a tag team, shouldn't they?
They should. But I don't see Orange and Cassidy completely different. I don't think it works. Moxley wins after about 10 minutes. Now, after the match, Hangman Adam Page makes his entrance wearing his Triumphant Dolly t-shirt. I got to tell you, even though Hangman Adam Page was not involved in the scrum, was not involved in the fight, was not involved in any of the pull-apart stuff, I've lost it for Hangman. I don't have the same enthusiasm, or I'm not following as strongly with Hangman since then, because to be honest, Hangman to me comes off now on TV as a millennial who I don't know. I don't know how to fix this character right now, but it's not resonating with me personally.
Well, he told you that from the beginning. He is the anxious millennial cowboy.
It's not working for me right now. What do we do to fix this?
Here's what you do. You give him a mic, and I know he's gone away, and you don't want to address the person that shall not be named, but you give him a mic and you let him cut a promo on Punk. Yeah. Punk took liberties when he wasn't there. And it's not going to happen. It's not the move they want to make, but I think that's how you get some of the momentum back. Maybe he doesn't call him out by name, but maybe he addresses that so you know exactly what he's talking about, because that feels like the forgotten thing, the movie that wasn't made, man. And I think that would take you steps towards kind of reconciling that.
It's a good proposition. I think they need to take the high road on this, though, and it just never gets mentioned again. But like I said, it never be mentioned again has damaged the character of Hangman Adam Page to me.
Yeah.
Do they? Let me propose this. Do they pull a Matt Hardy, Kane, Edge, Lita move? And do they have somebody else in the Punk role? Try to fix it that way.
Ooh, I think they take it a step further, and they do an under faker role, and they bring in a fake Punk.
Oh boy. So you took the idea I had with the hot take on the markers, and you just no. What I'm saying is, when before Matt Hardy showed up, they had Kane playing the role of Matt Hardy, technically, where Kane was with Lita, and then Edge
Yeah.
came in and stole Lita from Kane, but then the real Matt Hardy showed up. If they want to address it without addressing it, do they have somebody in there in the Punk role to get this out there? Because, like I said,
So I get
you've
it.
lost me on
They
Page.
they bring Punk's wife Aja in, and they pair her up
Oh
with
boy! All
Paige.
right.
Not
Good grief.
Soraya, but Hangman Adam Page.
And that's Saraya. So that's the great segue. Saraya makes her way to the ring, and Saraya actually in her first match in WWE defeats AJ Lee for the Women's Championship, otherwise known as the Divas Championship at that point on the WrestleMania post Raw. Uh, Saraya makes her way to the ring. Matthew, I want to spend a couple minutes on the women's division and this segment. I understand what they're trying to do, and I think it's right for business. But what they did is they completely exposed their entire women's division because she said, let's bring out the entire women's division.
Yeah.
And then as the casual fan this isn't me, the casual fan is going to say, who the fuck are these people? That's your women's division.
This felt very WWE Divas Division esque, and it felt like for a company that has been criticized of just having, all right, here's your nightly women's segment, us having this segment where we
Expose
throw
themselves.
them all out in a lumberjill / lumberjack match. This felt like you taken many steps back. It felt like you taken about a decade back to where we were at. When she won that Divas title, I know what they were trying to do, but the execution, I think they got something completely different when you saw the presentation of it. I do not think it was what they were going after
Let's go even
at all.
further. Yeah, let's
Yeah,
go even further. Saraya says Toni Storm, the greatest women's champion in AEW history. She's an interim champion for starters. And two,
yeah.
I mean, Britt Baker, technically, I think is the greatest women's champion they've had so far in their short term. And three, what about Thunder Rosa, who's the actual eight? I mean,
Yeah.
botched. Botch. I hate the word botch, but this segment was just terribly just blah.
And you also run the risk of, okay, this is a major name that came from WWE, and we're going to let her. This was her segment. She was the one that was introducing the women and ushering this segment in. So you also have the further concern of the approach. Oh, it's a former WWE talent, so this is going to be who we basically present as the head of the women's division, which was basically the presentation last night.
Because we kept hearing commentary say over and over, boy, she is really changing things up. She's really leading us. Never said she's going to be a wrestler. Never said she's going to perform, bump any of that stuff. This just does not sit well. All right, so it led to an inter-women's championship match, the Lumberjack Jill. So the other thing too is, I hear multiple people mispronouncing, and I just want one pronunciation. The thing they did right was they let Saraya on the microphone, and after they made it a part of the segment, she goes, "It's Saraya, by the way." Perfect.
Yeah.
The person whose name it is said exactly how to pronounce it. That should be how we pronounce it from now on. But Toni Storm, Serena Deeb.
Yeah, it was a match, and I think it would have been much more effective if we had the match as a standalone. And I don't think again, the women outside the ring, but also, something that's concerning me about the presentation of us seeing women's teams that are going up against, Bailey's stable now. It just goes back to that women's era from not too long ago where we had team bad and team this and team that.
What was the
Where
name of the one team that lasted for about 3 weeks until we realized it was an acronym for something filthy?
oh yeah, oh my goodness,
Like anal
I
penetration or something like that. Wasn't that the name of the team?
that was exactly the name. Yeah, yeah.
Excuse me,
I
folks.
you bought a shirt, didn't you?
Yeah, matter of fact, it said APS, I think is what it was, anal pretended. Never mind. Uh, Matthew, let's move on from this women's segment because this did not move them forward at all. It moved them backwards. Winner of the match and still interim women's champion, Toni Storm. Kind of a squash match, but you know what? It was a nice highlight, kind of feature match. Ricky Starks and Eli Isom. Ricky Starks with the quick victory.
Getting the big win at your Rampage from Arthur Ashe last week, and I think this was a very, very good approach to kind of move him a little bit further up the card and featuring.
Yeah, I thought it was a great feature. And, sometimes a squash match needs to happen, and this was perfect. I thought it was absolutely perfect. All right, finally, the main event, the Ring of Honor or the Ring of Jericho World Championship. Chris Jericho and Bandito. Bandito looks like a very talented wrestler. I didn't get to see a ton of his stuff in ROH, but I saw something unique. I saw blood through a mask.
Well, you saw that quite a bit during the pandemic, didn't you? You would get people would get color, through their mask. Sometimes when you just gotta, I'm sure Moxley did. You don't have like a little razor with you, when you're going through the day. You're like, you know what? Now it's time for some color. And yeah, so it's been a while, but we saw it last night.
Okay, the winner of the match and still ROH World Champion Chris Jericho. Jericho says he's going to go and beat. This caught my attention right away because Bobby Cruz, the ring announcer, was standing in the ring and had Jericho talking. I'm like, they don't normally do this. Okay, Bobby Cruz holding a mic for Chris Jericho. He says, "I want to beat every great ROH champion." Challenges Daniel Bryan to a match next month. Then Jericho says, "I'm going to get every talent. I'm going to get every announcer and every ring announcer." Very sports entertaining, and he attacks Bobby Cruz.
And what I love last week on Rampage too, Jericho, the new ROH champion, when he's on commentary now, talking about how that's not honorable. That's not honorable. I think you can have a lot of fun with Jericho as ROH champion, even going back to the handshake at the beginning where he's trying different versions of the handshake,
Right. Well, I mean, at least he's not giving us the Rochambeau. We already got that from Ricky Starks.
There you go.
Well, Matthew, that is Thursday morning for us here at PWR Today. Maybe we need to, like Jungle Boy Jack Perry, and start changing our name a little bit and just call it the PWR Show. We'll kind of transition into it. You know what I mean? Maybe we go back to our roots. What do you think about that?
I like it. Or we could even take it to the Pro Wrestling Report. Try that on for size.
Wow, I'm gonna have to talk to legal on that one. All right, for Linda K, for Matthew Thomas on the Man They Call Meathead. We will talk to you guys tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.